Ahead on the Tiger Basketball Report, we will find out how the Tigers fared against Navy and Fairleigh Dickinson to close out the 2014 year. Later, we'll look ahead to the Tigers' next game against James Madison to begin CAA play. The Tiger Basketball Report begins now. Hello, Tiger fans, and welcome into the Towson Sports Network studio for another edition of the Tiger Basketball Report. I'm your host, Spiro Marikas. The Tigers have played 3 games since our last episode. Unfortunately, all 3 were losses for the Tigers as they dropped a tough one against LaSalle back on the 20th of December by a score of 67-53, and then 2 heartbreakers. One against Navy on the road, 61-56, and the second, an overtime loss on Monday night against Fairleigh Dickinson here at CQ Arena, 85-84. With that, let's bring in the head coach of the Tigers, Pat Scarry. And Coach, I know you're not pleased with the way things have gone lately, but the one thing you have to say from the game against Fairleigh Dickinson on Monday night, the offense certainly did improve when you were able to get a shot off.
Yeah, ball movement was good. We've tried to preach that since we've come back from Christmas break, and anytime you shoot 57% from the floor, I don't know if I've ever had a team shoot that high, so that's got to be a constant moving forward. There's no secrets. We've lost a couple close games in varying fashions. To have the type of success that we think we can have in conference play, we've got to continue to guard and rebound, which has been good, and then we can't turn the basketball over. That's obviously the most alarming thing, the most disappointing thing, the most concerning thing. We've got to get that rectified quickly to have the type of success we believe we can have. Let's
go back to the Navy game a week ago Monday, where you look at the stat sheet and you could say that you lost the game at the foul line because the free throw percentage was not good. You lost by 5 points. But I know that you weren't overly pleased with the way the offense was operating that night.
No, I thought we hunted some shots, and I think as it got close down the stretch, we forced some drives where we should have drove the kick, and not for selfish reasons. I just think with some inexperience, some guys are trying to make plays, and the intent was good. The intent's been pretty good with this group. We just gotta, we're kind of getting in our own way the last couple of games, and we've got to get past that. We talked to our group today a lot about that. I still believe this. We will determine whatever our level of success is. We're going to determine that. I think that's been pretty apparent the last couple of ball games. So, if we got to just take care of that, then we can quickly turn the tide. But we tell our kids a lot, Spiro, winning is hard. They just don't just give you the game. So you've got to do a lot of things right in order to win games. So it's just a matter of making sure we do those right things for longer stretches without changing our defense and our backboards. Those are 2 things that we lead our conference in, and we must continue to do that to be good.
You go back to Navy, and not to make excuses, but people will look at Navy and say, well, their record is not real great. But you got them on the night that Worth Smith, their best player, came back and hadn't played since the Michigan State game, the first game of the year, where he was playing well and got injured, then missed 9 games in a row, comes back against you guys and has a good night. So the Navy team that you saw is not the same one that folks were seeing for a couple of weeks there.
Well, credit for Navy. I thought they were inspired. He's a terrific player. We knew that. Heck, they lost to Michigan State by 5, and he had it going until he got hurt. And he was the best player on the floor the other night. But those things happen. It's part of the game. I think long term, some of those adverse conditions is good for a young group like ours, and it'll help us later on if we learn from some of those mistakes. The foul shooting hurt us that night. But guys don't try to miss free throws. We've done an unbelievable job getting to the foul line, and we just got to try to keep making them, as many as we can.
It's interesting because we'll get to the game against Fairleigh Dickinson in a minute, but I had someone tell me that Eddie Keith was here an hour early before the Fairleigh Dickinson game shooting free throws, doing nothing but shooting free throws. Crunch time comes, and he was unable to get the winning free throw to win the game in regulation. But it's not, as you say, it's not that the guys aren't trying. They just, right now, they're not going in.
Yeah, you just as input equals output. We got to keep working at it. We go to a little bit shorter practices, then we come back for shooting and skill work every day this time of year, which is great. Now the finals are over, and it's a chance for guys to get better. And like I said, I'm really excited when our guys get to the foul line, and I believe they're going to make them. And just got to keep staying at it. It's foul shooting is a tricky thing. I've never would yell at a guy about shooting a free throw. I mean, they're not trying to miss.
You knew Navy wasn't going well when 4 missed one.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not good. You get to the Fairleigh Dickinson game, and it was a game you led by 14 at halftime. You had a 16-point lead early in the second half. They started pressing, and that did not surprise you. You knew that was going to come, and they went to a 5-guard offense. What was it about that 5-guard lineup? What was it about that when they played defensively with that small lineup that bothered you so much?
Well, we just didn't take care of the ball. The only thing I thought we had a really good first half, maybe our first half of basketball, best half of basketball this season. And the only thing we talked about at halftime was we had 8 turnovers. We got to do a better job taking care of the ball. We did a much worse job taking care of it in the second half. So that's disappointing. I think they made some tough threes. Statistically, we guarded pretty good, although I thought they hurt us, spreading us out. And because we weren't taking care of the ball, we went small, partly to match up with them going small, and then also because you hope if you can put more ball handlers on the floor, you can take care of the basketball better. And I just, we just had a lot of mind-boggling turnovers. My hope is that we will benefit from that and learn from that. We need to. As you know, you get the conference play, there's no errors, but it's give them credit. Even when we got to overtime, we should have been able to win the game in overtime after we coughed it up at the end of regulation. We got up twice, 2 back-to-back possessions. We only needed to take away a 3-point shot, and they made threes to force that. And then obviously we lost the guy in the last play, and it's a tough way to lose a game at the end like that at the buzzer when you've led for the entire night.
Well, the Tigers are going to hope to get back on the winning track. We'll talk about that coming up later on. We have come to our first break, and when we come back, we'll discuss which Tigers have had some huge impacts this first half of the season. The Tiger Basketball Report with head coach Pat Scarry will return right after these words.
Virtual Wallet can help you be that person who's good with money. See what's free to spend, move money with a slide, save with a shake. Feel good about your decisions.
Brian Vickers, Aaron's sponsored driver. He doesn't just love racing, he lives it.
We got the paper! Woo!
His pit crew follows him everywhere. Oddly, so does his boss.
Right, sign that.
And his passion for racing is rivaled only by his passion for errands.
No credit needed. I'll take it.
Woo! Congrats.
Aaron's makes owning easy through lease ownership, so you can own the life you want.
You'll find it on the sidewalks of Little Italy and on the porches in Catonsville. You can see it when friends meet in Mount Vernon. It's pride. Pride in our city, pride in our people. That's why MedStar Health is building the most accessible healthcare system in the region to look after everyone from Lutherville to Locust Point. So no matter where you go, no matter who you are, you're never far from MedStar.
White Markets Ice Cream Plant is based in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and is locally owned and operated. We've been making our ice cream for nearly 50 years. We create roughly 70 flavors of ice cream right now. We use local ingredients, especially our cream, which is from our milk plant. The cream is what gives our ice cream a rich and creamy texture. Now, together with our customers, we've created a product called Peanut Butter Indulgence, which will be coming out this summer. It's a peanut butter ice cream with sea salt caramel swirl and chocolate-covered pretzel. How can you go wrong with that? Personally, I love our ice cream. If you come to our house at any given time, you'll find at least 5 packets of ice cream in our freezer. Our kids grew up eating Wise quality ice cream, and now we get to treat our grandchildren to it. It's been a pleasure for me to be tasting ice cream for over 40 years for Wise Markets, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Welcome back to the Tiger Basketball Report. I'm Spiro Marikas. He leads the Tigers in points per game this season, as well as free throw percentage and free throws made. If you guessed for McGlynn, then you're right. He leads the country in free throw percentage at 95.4%. He's averaging 14.8 points per game. Coach, how valuable is 4 to your offense, or is that just a dumb question?
No, I'm really proud of how well he's playing. I think he's markedly improved defensively, and I think he's leading much better than he ever has. He's grown comfortable in that role. He's playing well. We talked today. He's got to take care of the ball better. Although we are putting the ball in his hands a lot, and we will continue to put the ball in his hands a lot because we have good confidence in him for a lot of reasons. He can shoot threes, he can drive, he can pass, and he can get fouled and make free throws. So I really feel like he's taken the next step as a player. He was a good player, but I think he's playing at that next level right now. We're going to need him to do that with a new squad.
Well, and last year, 4 was kind of the quiet guy because you had so many senior leaders on that team. Now, all of a sudden, he's the guy who's been around for a couple of years. Now he is taking more of an assertiveness on the floor. You can see him directing his teammates, talking to them, encouraging them. Is that what you expected when you recruited, when you got him, when he transferred from Vermont?
Well, we knew we were getting a talented scorer, good guy, great family, good student. So you never know until everything else kind of plays itself out. But I think he's grown. He's starting to mature in a lot of different ways, and hopefully that's a consistent thing. It's funny you said we had a nice meeting today and spent a lot of time on that he's got to, we always tell guys that you keep the train on the tracks. He's got to do that for us to have success because he's talented and he has valuable game experience.
Byron Hawkins had 23 points against Navy, a career high. Then turns around against Fairleigh Dickinson, ended up with 8 points, but his season has been kind of a roller coaster. How much of that do you think is just a process of him being a freshman and getting acclimated to Division I college basketball?
I think a lot of it, although he's playing a tough position, the hardest position on the floor, so you don't get any brownie points for that. But I do think he's really talented, and he's playing well, and he's started to make a good turn. He had 6 rebounds last night, 8 points, and I think the one thing with him that we've got to stay on him with is he's got to guard at the level that I think he's capable of guarding at it, because he gives us something on offense we haven't had. He's incredibly fast with the ball. He's got good vision. He can make plays. Even though he isn't shooting as high a percentage you like, he's very, very capable of that. That'll go up, So he's a key guy, and we want to go with him because his upside is really high. You look at him, you see flashes like, whoa, he could be really good. I told him this today. I said, you are so fast with the ball. You got to be that fast on defense when you don't have the ball. And he's learning, and I do feel like though he's had some really good moments over the last last 3-4 games where you start to see it.
Then you look at Eddie Keith, another freshman that's getting a lot of playing time, and he's another one. He's kind of having a roller coaster season.
Same thing. Eddie's talented, and he's helped us win some big games. We got to get him to be more consistent. He's capable of being a better shooter. He's a very good playmaker. He can be a consistent defender. We're going to play him. The same thing with Mike Borsell. I think Mike's got a chance to get more minutes and has a really high ceiling. So I think for us to get where we're going to get to as a team and as a program, those guys have all chance to make major impacts. And we got to keep playing them. They've got to have a consistent, mature approach, right, and how to help us win basketball games.
All right, non-conference season is over. 7-6, not what you would have liked, I'm sure. 13-0 is what you were shooting for, obviously. But conference play starts on Saturday against James Madison. Are you, in your rotation of players, are you where you wanted to be, where you thought you would be at this point when you get ready to play your first CAA game against James Madison?
Somewhat. I still think we're going to, we've going to play. We played a little bit less guys last night against Fairleigh Dickinson. You know, I'm hoping our depth's going to pull us through, as I've told you on certain nights. But I think we've found out a little bit more about ourselves and with certain lineups and groups that we can't have on the floor, depending on what we're playing defensively or what type of team we're playing against. So the answer, yeah, I think so. We're not perfect yet, obviously. And that's got to be the goal. You know, it's funny. We're excited for conference play. We get back at it tomorrow, and you know, everyone's 0-0. It's a one-bid league this year, so everyone's 0-0. And no, I really believe in the group. I think we can be right there, although we're not there yet. And we've got to quickly get that. It's scary, Spiro, because you go 4 games in like whatever it is, 8 days. So that's crazy because you might get off to a much better start than maybe you're ready to get, or a much worse start. And I don't know how that can impact you later on. It's one of the things that's, to me, disappointing about our league, to play that many games that quickly. But hey, maybe it's going to benefit us, and we need to figure out how to make it benefit us.
Well, 3 of them are at CQ Arena, so that's a good thing. How do things change, or do they change at all now that you're in conference play? Do practices change? Do you focus on different things because you have familiarity with a lot of these teams? Do things change at all?
You know, I would hope our approach is the same. The things we preach and drill, you know, I hope they're the same. It's like anything, though. I think the stakes get higher in conference play because you're trying to win a conference championship, you know. For a lot of new guys for us, and even a couple of guys that have been around that have newer roles, you know, it's going to be interesting. But I'm excited to see this group kind of find their way. That's what we have to do. The players have to find their way a little bit, and that's why I think, you know, last couple of years we've had some up and down non-conference starts, but we've really found our way in conference play, and that's what we need to have happen again.
No question about that. The Tigers have been dominant in CAA play, especially coming down the stretch. On the other side of this break, we will see how the Tigers will prepare for their first conference game of the year against the Dukes of James Madison. The Tiger Basketball Report with Pat Scarry will be back in a moment.
Virtual Wallet can help you be that person who's good with money. See what's free to spend, move money with a slide, save with a shake. Feel good about your decisions.
Brian Vickers, Aaron's sponsored driver. He doesn't just love racing, he lives it.
We got the paper! Woo!
His pit crew follows him everywhere. Oddly, so does his boss.
Red, sign that. Yeah!
And his passion for racing is rivaled only by his passion for errands.
No credit needed. I'll take it.
Woo! Congrats.
Aaron's makes owning easy through lease ownership, so you can own the life you want.
You'll find it on the sidewalks of Little Italy and on the porches in Catonsville. You can see it when friends meet in Mount Vernon. It's pride. Pride in our city, pride in our people. That's why MedStar Health is building the most accessible healthcare system in the region to look after everyone from Lutherville to Locust Point. So no matter where you go, no matter who you are, you're never far from MedStar.
White Market's ice cream plant is based in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and locally owned and operated. We've been making our ice cream for nearly 50 years. We create roughly 70 flavors of ice cream right now. We use local ingredients, especially our cream, which is from our milk plant. The cream is what gives our ice cream a rich and creamy texture. Now, together with our customers, we've created a product called Peanut Butter Indulgence, which will be coming out this summer. It's a peanut butter ice cream with sea salt caramel swirl, chocolate-covered pretzel. How could you go wrong with that? Personally, I love our ice cream. You come to our house at any given time, you'll find at least 5 packets of ice cream in our freezer. Our kids grew up eating Wise quality ice cream, and now we get to treat our grandchildren to it. It's been a pleasure for me to be tasting ice cream for over 40 years at the Wise Markets, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Welcome back to the Tiger Basketball Report. I'm Spiro Marikas. The Tigers back in action this Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. when they take on the Dukes of James Madison down at the Convocation Center in Harrisonburg, Virginia. It will be the first conference game for both teams. Coach JMU has dropped their last 3 games. They obviously are hungry to get a win to start conference play. And in a way, there's a lot of similarity between these two teams because they've got a lot of new faces this year.
Yeah, I think, Matt Brady's a proven coach, and we know that we're going to get their best shot. They've got a lot of new guys. They have, I think, 2 terrific veteran guys in Nation and Curry, and we'll have to play well. We've every year I've been here, we've had wars up there, absolute wars. We're expecting another one on Saturday. They're a good group. They're going to try to, I'm sure, speed us up, watch tape, try to see if they can turn us over, and we've got to be able to have a big-time defensive effort, a big-time effort on the backboards, and then take care of the ball. I mean, at this point, there are no real, secret tricks. But you got to execute it in conference play in order to grind out wins.
How about Ron Curry? Is there anyone you can compare him to as a player?
I like his size, and he can score it and pass it. That's what I think is impressive. Big guard that plays the point, like a NBA, but Deron Williams type of guy, or even he's a little bit bigger than the kid they had a couple of years ago that was really good at the point. But he's good like that. They do a lot of ball screening for him. They trust him. He's a talented guy. He's playing 35 minutes a game, so obviously Coach Brady and those guys trust him with the basketball, and he's been through the wars.
Their leading scorer this year is Jackson Kent, averaging just under 12 points a game, and he's a guy who's seen some playing time the last couple of years, but obviously his minutes have really stepped up this season.
Yeah, he's made a big jump from freshman to sophomore year. Excellent shooter, excellent field, son of a coach. They've done a good job getting him shots and screening for him, so he's certainly a guy where we've got to take away the three-point shot from.
And then they've got Andre Nation, who did not play the first few games of the season for them due to a team suspension. He's back now, not getting quite the minutes that he used to get, but this is a guy that last year, obviously, everyone looked around and said, this guy's one of the best players in the league.
There's no question he's an elite talent. We've got to try to keep him off the glass, keep him out of transition, and make him take contested jump shots. He'll make contested shots because he's a gifted player. I don't think anyone, any team in the conference would pass up the opportunity to have a guy of his ability on their squad.
Do you think that when you guys get set to take the court on Saturday afternoon that there might be a different feel in the locker room because it is the first conference game of the year?
Yeah, there will be. I think that's kind of a natural progression of things. And I'm excited because we've got so many new guys of how they embrace that, how they go out and perform. I'm frustrated because I probably hoped we'd be further along. Mm-hmm. But I'm also frustrated. I thought we could be further along because I really like the group. I like how they practice. I like the depth, and I like our upside. So what frustrates you is you want us to play longer stretches of the way we're capable of playing. But the flip side is what better way to start than in conference play.
Right. And then, speaking of new, on Monday night in CQ Arena, the newest team in the CAA, Elon, will be here. The Phoenix, coming from the Southern Conference, for them it's a step up into the CAA, but they've had a pretty good year so far.
They're playing well. I saw a couple of their games on television as part of the Duke game and then the Missouri game, and they've won 3 in a row. And Matt Bettini's a guy I've known for a long time assistant at Davis. He's done a terrific job. They'll be a good program in our league. They're a good addition. We're not worried about them yet, but we will once the James Madison game ends.
And it is very quick over the next few days because you play Madison on Saturday, then home for 3. Elon on Monday night. Tickets available, 1-855-TU-TIGERS or TowsonTigers.com. Thursday night against Drexel, which is always a war.
Oh, God, yeah.
And then a week from Saturday, Northeastern, the team that was picked to win the conference coming into the season. So, not an easy – nothing's going to be easy from here on out.
No. I mean, honestly, there's 18 games that go either way. Our league is going to be – Northeastern clearly I think has played the best in the non-conference, and then I'd say Hofstra has great talent. Coach Mihalik's done an unbelievable job there, and William Mary clearly has well, I haven't seen the Hofstra guys up close, but I would say, you know, I can't imagine a lot of guys being better than Marcus Thornton. But yeah, I mean, I like our group. It's got to be. We can't have like even we talked about to our guys McGlynn, who's playing really well for us. He can't pick up the rock and carry it up the hill. We got to have 7-8 guys pushing the rock up the hill. You know, but I like teams like that, and I like coaching teams like that. So that's you know, but we got to get all those guys playing pretty good on game night.
Well, before we step out for our next break, I just wanted to take a minute or two here to talk about a former Tiger who, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, has just been phenomenal. Jarrell Benneman is crushing the D-League in the NBA. Have you talked to Jarrell at all, or are you following him?
Absolutely. And he talks to most of our players and staff, and he did so much for our program. I'm not surprised. You know what's funny is sometimes when you have a new group, and I'm on our guys, it's like, you're on them too much, you know, but I mean, this is what I think it takes to win, you know. And Jarrell, I went at Jarrell hard. We went at each other hard for 3 years, 2 on the court. And I'll tell you what kind of kid he is, a competitor. 8:03 Christmas morning, first text message I got, "Merry Christmas, Coach." And then a bunch of questions, what's up with the guys, we got to get this right. You know, I'm really proud of him. I'm not surprised. I believe he's an NBA player, just a matter of time. And you know, he's as good as any Tiger to play here, that's for sure.
And how does he's in the D-League? I guess soon is when teams will start poaching the D-League to sign players to 10-day
right after
contracts.
January, I think. It's like January 4th to 5th. So he's crushing the league in rebounding. He's like top 12 in scoring. He's like top 10 assists. I mean, no surprise that people have watched him. And I think, you know, if you can get around him, you realize what type of a teammate he is, student of the game, how hungry he is to be a great player. So that he'll find his way.
I'm sure you enjoyed going at it with him, huh?
I wish we had him.
Well, unfortunately, he's not here this week. But hopefully one of the Tigers will step up and have Jarrell Benneman-like performances over the next 4 games in the CAA. We have to take one final break, but we will be back with more of the Tiger Basketball Report after this.
Right now, you can get a single line with 3 gigs for $65 a month.
3 gigs, is that a lot?
That's about 100 app downloads, 45 hours of streaming music, and 6 hours of video playing.
And 5 golden rings.
I see what you did.
4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves. I really went for it there.
Yeah, you did. You really, really did.
Now get 3 gigs of data on one line for $65 a month. Switch to AT&T, buy a new smartphone, and get a $150 credit per line.
Mariner Finance is a consumer finance company, so we offer personal loans.
Mariner Finance is a great place to work. It's a great thing for anyone with the entrepreneurial spirit.
Everybody in every office has an opportunity to achieve and grow.
Be your own leader. Be a leader amongst the fellow coworkers in your office.
The training and development that we do at Mariner Finance is one-on-one. Someone who has been there, done it, experienced it.
There is no better feeling.
Learn with us.
Grow with us.
Run with us.
Brian Vickers, Aaron's sponsored driver. He doesn't just love racing, he lives it.
He got the paper! Woo!
His pit crew follows him everywhere. Oddly, so does his boss.
Red, sign that, sign that. Yeah!
And his passion for racing is rivaled only by his passion for errands.
No credit needed. I'll take it.
Woo! Congrats.
Aaron's makes owning easy through lease ownership, so you can own the life you want.
Welcome back to the Tiger Basketball Report. Coach, thanks for joining us. And before I say Happy New Year and good luck against James Madison, Jerry Tarkanian once said, you need 8 great players and 4 guys who really know how to jump up and down and cheer on the bench.
Yep. Take the high road, Spiro. There's less traffic.
The Tigers open up conference play this Saturday afternoon in Harrisonburg, Virginia against the James Madison Dukes at 4 o'clock. You can listen live on CBS Sports Radio 1300 starting at 3:45 with the countdown, the Coors Light countdown to tip-off hosted by me, Spiro Maurikas, or at TowsonTigers.com or on your smartphone or your tablet. Thanks for watching another edition of the Tiger Basketball Report, and go Tigers!